Coming up in today's video, we're going to be talking about Vince McMahon, we're going to talk about MJF, and we're going to talk about a top AEW superstar who could be written off of TV at Revolution and walk back into the WWE. So many crazy rumors and news. We're talking about it all in today's video. All right, guys, so we're going to kick things off and talk about Vince McMahon. I thought this was a very interesting story because Vince McMahon was previously shown on the WrestleMania graphics. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, they're doing like these movie posters. And on the bottom of it, you know, it has like its credits just like a normal Hollywood film. And initially, Vince McMahon was on there as the director for WrestleMania 39. Well, now there's actually been an update to it, and Vince McMahon was removed from the graphic. And of course, it's generated some sort of conversation online. I've had some people reach out to me on Discord like, hey man, like, you're a wrestling fan, what do you make out of this? And to be honest with you, the whole Vince McMahon situation is really strange because Vince McMahon is reportedly back in the WWE, but then he's also reportedly not doing much in the WWE. Then WrestleVotes came out and said that Vince McMahon is a very influential person who basically has his hands on Brock Lesnar's opponent for WrestleMania. I mean, there's so much stuff that is being said about Vince McMahon and what he's doing in WWE, and honestly, not the dirt sheets, not the YouTubers, not me, I don't think a wrestler even knows what Vince McMahon's doing in the WWE. I think anything that is being said about Vince McMahon and his role in WWE right now is completely far from the truth because nobody really knows. I don't think WWE wants us to know. And I think anything that's put out there could just be put out there just for, you know, smoke and mirrors type stuff. But at the end of the day, Vince McMahon is back in the WWE in some capacity. What is he doing? I don't know. So why was he removed from the graphic? I don't know. Maybe WWE deems it as controversial. I know there was rumors for Vince McMahon to be at the Royal Rumble. That was something that was pitched, and then more reports came out about Vince McMahon, so WWE pulled that idea. I know there's also been more ideas and more rumors about Vince McMahon possibly being at WrestleMania. That also sounds like that might not be happening. So at the end of the day, when it comes to Vince McMahon, I feel like everything's a waiting game. But also, there's a lot of talk about that sale to Saudi Arabia. And that sale to Saudi Arabia is a very, very interesting topic because the public investment funds of Saudi Arabia could be purchasing WWE, and it could be finalized by the time that they're doing King of the Ring in May, I think was the date we were talking about. So pay attention to that. Guys, I want to talk about MJF, and this is a really, really, really interesting story. But you guys might not like what I have to say. But I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. Especially if you're a fan of WWE, you're going to hate what I have to say. So Fightful Select reported that one WWE talent outright admitted that MJF told them, I'm looking forward to being there in 2024. The source said that MJF wanted them to think he was serious, but the source said that they take what he says with a grain of salt. Fightful also added word of him saying that he had made its way to other talent there as well. So basically what MJF had said to that talent, other talent then heard about it. So it became a talking point within the WWE locker room. This is crazy. The idea of MJF telling other talent that he could be going to WWE. I'm going to be real honest with you guys. Okay? This is just my opinion. Whether you like my opinion or not, god dang it, you're going to have to listen to it in this one. AEW has done very good with MJF. They've done very good with MJF. And, you know, I'm not saying MJF to WWE would be a failure. It would be a flop. I'm not saying WWE or Triple H wouldn't know what to do with MJF. I don't think that's an issue. I think if Triple H is running creative, I think he would know a lot to like what to do with MJF. But the thing that makes MJF work so well is that you don't know what his blurred lines are not. You don't know what is real or not. And the fact is, AEW is a company who supports him in that aspect. They allow him that freedom to do that. To go on television and say, I'm going to take my title with me. I'm going to leave this company. I'm going to go there. Maybe I'll work for Triple H. That is idiotic. But at the end of the day, AEW allows it, and there's nothing else I would rather see from MJF. Because you know damn well MJF ain't going to WWE talking about leaving WWE to go somewhere else. So I feel like AEW and MJF are a perfect match. I would never be against the idea of MJF going to WWE, but I think AEW and MJF are so great together that it works. I also think there's a ton of people in AEW who could be the future, but they just need the attention on them. Konosuke Takeshita, Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, Lee Moriarty. I mean, those are just a few of the names. So at the end of the day, MJF telling people he's going to WWE, I just think it's silly, but it's fun. It's cool. I think there's going to be a lot of great videos and topics and rumors. We'll see how all of that goes down. But if MJF really goes to WWE, no, I don't think it's going to be a failure. I just like what he's doing with AEW. I would not be opposed to either one. I just think right now, as what we're seeing, it just makes more sense. Nonetheless, it's time to move on. We're going to go talk about Christian Cage. Yeah, this is insane, actually, because if you guys didn't know, AEW has booked a Buried Alive match. Well, that's not what it's called. It's called The Final Burial. And the reason why it's called The Final Burial, I'm guessing it might have to do with trademarks or whatever. I don't really care. I think the name is actually sick. So here's the thing. Initially, AEW announced this match. They teased it as a Burial Alive match, Buried Alive. Then they announced it as a no-holds-barred match, which was really strange. Then on Rampage, they corrected that and said it's going to be called The Final Burial. So, of course, this got social media talking. And now there's been nothing to confirm this whatsoever other than pure speculation and pure rumors. Now, Christian Cage joined AEW around this time in 2021. Initially, when he was asked about his deal and when there was topics being brought up about his deal, when these conversations got brought up, the conversation was, is this a short time thing, like a short period of time? He said, no, I'm in it for the long haul. Most AEW contracts, especially most, not all of them, but from what we've known that's been reported, most contracts are about 3 to 5 years. Some contracts are a year to 2 years, and then they also have contracts that are per appearance. The rumor is that Christian Cage signed a 2-year deal in 2021 around the time of AEW Revolution, and the rumor is that his contract expires this time this year. Hence the idea of a final burial, which would make sense if Jungle Boy were to win this match and bury Christian Cage and write him off TV. The rumor and the speculation is that Christian Cage is going to go on to WWE to tag team one final time with Edge, and they'll both retire in August 2023 in Toronto on SmackDown. That's the rumor. Do I think that is accurate? I don't know. I take those things with a grain of salt. Until something gets confirmed, I take it with a grain of salt. Just like anything else. But I do want to point this out. AEW did a phenomenal job with Christian Cage. They really did. And I didn't necessarily expect that, but Christian Cage had a career resurgence where if he and Edge are really going to retire together, I just don't want to see that, man. Like, I don't want that to happen. I want to see them continue to do these great things that they've been doing on television, Edge included. But if Christian and Edge are going to retire together and they're going to retire in Canada on WWE, I mean, that's a storybook. That's a storybook ending, right? But as far as AEW and Christian Cage goes, if he stays with AEW, I can never be mad at that. I feel like they've done an incredible job. Literally, I don't think you could ask for much more than that. He came into the company. He didn't have to take championship belts from up-and-coming guys. He didn't have to be programmed in the main event every single time. Yet he was there, and he just did some really good stuff. And his heel work has been incredible. So, very interesting stuff, guys. Christian Cage possibly leaving to WWE. We'll see what happens. But nonetheless, it's going to be very, very fun year for pro wrestling.